What's up to everybody in the chat? Make sure you claim those memberships. They're free.
Yeah, I got one. Thanks. I never seen that done that way before.
Yeah, no, it's
You have
super
to
cool.
you have to do it on the computer. You can't do it on a cell phone, which is so weird. You'd think YouTube would be all about it on cell phone.
Yeah. All right, so it's time to start. Guys, today we're going to be talking about crypto as you see. And, this is going to be a little different because I really don't know that much about crypto. I've dabbled in it, thanks to Coiner. Um, yeah, that's about it. Literally, that's about it, dude. I'm not gonna lie, like, I've gambled and I have, used crypto casinos, and that's about my extent of crypto managing, touching, dabbling, whatever you want to call it. So look, I'm even though this is my channel and this is my stream and everything like that, this is very much y'all's this time because well, I don't know much about crypto, so I'm gonna kind of follow you guys, and I'm gonna ask questions when something pops in my head. And obviously, you guys know how I am. I can talk for hours, and so yeah, we're gonna do it. All right, so crypto. Point blank, what is crypto?
Do you want it, Brian?
Sure, I'll start. Crypto is digital money secured um, through cryptography. Uh, it's nothing physical. You can't hold it. It's basically like a public ledger that has accounts on it that hold your amounts.
I mean, it's literally like it's all digital, like nothing tangible at all.
Right. Well, like even like US dollars, only like 2% are actual physical money. The rest is all just numbers on a ledger in the bank systems.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah. That is weird. See, that's the scary thing about banks, though. Is they just like turn you off. If they really
yep,
wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
If they
yep.
really wanted to, I have, whatever I have in my bank account, thinking that, oh, that's my money. No, it's really their
No,
money.
It's
it's the
their money.
bank's money. That's one of the things I tell all new people getting in. I was like, your money in the bank? They go, yeah. I was like, that's not yours. Go try to take it all out if you have a decent amount of money. Just walk into the bank, say, try to take out $10,000. You got to answer questions. Why? What are you doing with it? Might have to make an appointment for a couple days because they don't have that much on hand. It's just, it's a game.
So here's a good opportunity to interact with the chat. So Julian says it's like Robux or V-Bucks. Now, you're not completely wrong. There are a lot of similarities. However, Robux and V-Bucks, there's no market for it. You can buy it directly from the game and you can use it in the game. However, cryptocurrency is sort of like the same thing, except for there's markets for it. So you can take it out and sell it for other currencies, including US dollars, euros, wherever you live.
Or
Um,
product.
yeah, yeah, you can buy things with cryptocurrency in certain places. Now, not obviously Walmart doesn't really accept it. Most places don't really accept it, but if you get online, there's actually quite a few payment options.
Yep.
So you can't buy a new pair of shoes with V-Bucks. You can buy new shoes with cryptocurrency.
Yep.
So the different guys. So if you guys aren't like 100%, if you have no idea what crypto is as of right now a currency that you can buy digital and physical products. Like something like V-Bucks and Robux, you only can buy within the game. It'll never be a real life currency where you buy like a Fortnite skin and then it shows up at your house. That's not how that works. It's just for the game. Crypto is a real world currency system, but it's not just that. It's actually a lot more complicated, and that's what we're kind of here to talk about. Because honestly, for me, crypto's extremely it's extremely confusing. And I was sitting there thinking this whole week, like, okay, what am I gonna ask these guys, right? And I genuinely just didn't know because there's so many ways you can answer the question, ask the question, talk about it, and then what do you really ask? Because crypto is actually that confusing, where it's like, okay, well, I got a question. So, what would it take for crypto to be actually mainstream? Because, from my point of view, unless it is regulated, it can't be.
So I would say crypto's already regulated a fair amount. You just don't really realize it. Um, Part of the problem is places like the SEC and the federal government. They don't understand crypto very well. They're quite similar to a lot of people in chat that are just learning about it, right? And so it's a really bad thing when you have regulatory bodies trying to regulate something they don't understand. So there is a fair amount of regulation already, but wishing further regulation from people who don't understand something is, it's a recipe for disaster. It's actually interesting that you bring that up because there are some people in our community that are working very hard at a state and federal level, actually lobbying to get governors and get representatives to understand this stuff so they can pass good common sense regulation about it, right? But in the
Now,
meantime, it's kind of a like a wild wilderness
yeah,
out
it's
there.
it's the wild west of money,
Yep.
and that's the scary thing. So like, I'll sit there and I'll take money from my bank that I theoretically have access to. I get that money, I put it into the crypto space. Now, honestly, it's really in space. Like, it's just like if I lose my keys, if I lose my passwords, I lose my anything, it is gone. But then when you put it into a certain coin, well, then you don't know if it's going to be a rug pull. You don't know if it's going to be something that just drops naturally. You don't know that. So it's super scary. So, like, how would they actually regulate it, actually? Because it is the Wild West right now.
Well, that brings up an interesting point because, like you say, the money in the bank is not your money. A lot of the centralized exchanges kind of defeat the original intent of cryptocurrency, where you self-custody your wallet. So if you have your own seeds, there's a saying in crypto: not your keys, not your coins. So if you have an account on a centralized exchange like Coinbase or Binance or something, they are in possession of your coins, not you.
So,
It's like your money in the bank.
okay,
It's
so we're going to have to dumb it down for people quick. So, what is an exchange? What is um, what is a crypto's bank? What does that look like for the people that don't know? Well,
well, an
what is
exchange
the
is like
like
I
what is a
look at
blockchain? Like what is a blockchain,
a
basically?
blockchain is the ledger, like the digital spreadsheet that holds all the information about all the accounts or wallets.
Okay,
So
so it's like
That
a data system.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, it's a decentralized data system. So there's millions of computers around the world that hold a copy of the same ledger. Excuse me.
right.
And if a handful of those, like let's say a transaction gets pushed through, um, and 98% of the computers in the world that hold the ledger, they all compare that ledger together. And if there's any discrepancy in there somewhere, they know something isn't right, right? And so those couple of computers can't override the mass of the system. So the mass of the system will kick those couple out and be like, no, this is what's really going on. There's no shenanigans going on here. So that's why blockchain is very secure, assuming it's a proper blockchain. You do have to be careful and watch because people will build insecure data systems and put a mask on it and call it a blockchain or a
Right.
cryptocurrency, and then you wind up losing money. And so it's important that people do some research when they go out and look
Yes,
into this stuff.
So like, do you think that like crypto is gonna just like take over the banks? Like
that's
it
the
like
hope.
so like what would be the actual benefit? Complete benefit.
Well, like you said, when your money's in the bank, it's not your money.
Right.
When your money is in your crypto wallet and you hold the private keys and nobody else has access to it, you are now the bank. Now the bank is irrelevant. The bank doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
And so banks are quite afraid of this because they understand that if you and me and everybody else figures this out, the banks are going to be out of business. They're not going to have too many customers left because who wants to take on counterparty risk? Who wants to be in a situation, you know, like the Canadian truckers, you know, somebody would buy the truckers a sandwich and then their entire bank account would get shut off so they can't pay their bills or feed their children. And that's specifically what cryptocurrency is out here to overcome. This is a problem that can't persist.
So like my biggest thing right now with crypto is I don't like the fact that I could just lose my money like basically instantly. That's what it feels like, honestly. That's why I'm scared to put more than what I did, you know, in the HEX at least, and anything else of that matter. Like the most I have in crypto is in HEX, and that's because of Corner. Other than that, I wouldn't have done anything. But like my biggest fear is like, okay, what is going to be the currency that people use? Like you know how like the US dollar is the currency right now, at least now. So what is going to be the I guess you would say coin? You know, what is going to be that? Because I'm afraid that if something's not stable, I'm just gonna lose my money. So I'm sitting there working. I'm like, yeah, I want it in Bitcoin, or yeah, I want it in ETH or whatever. And then next thing you know, my paycheck is gone because of market changes. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's scary to me. I don't like the changes. At least, what I can say is at least in the bank, if I make a certain amount, it's just there. And I can at least see it's not going down unless I make it go down, you know?
Right.
I mean, the one thing I can say is, at least, you know, with crypto, it can go up, but, like, it's scary that it can go down and to zero.
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
Everything can go down. Amazon stock goes down, the S&P 500 goes down. And also keep in mind, every fiat currency that has ever existed on Earth has went to zero. Every single one of them has failed. Go
Usually
do
at
your
about 50 years.
Yep, they've got about a 50 to 100-year lifespan, and we're pushing that with the U.S. dollar
We're
and
at
many other currencies
51
around the
years
world.
right now.
Yep. And
Uh,
so, you know, don't think the U.S. dollar is going to be here forever. And so, like, the federal banking system is trying to do something called a CBDC. So this is a central bank digital currency. So what they want to do is they want to fool you into thinking that they've got this crypto thing handled. Here you go. Here's your crypto coin. No more US dollars because they're dirty, they're filthy. We have to print them. There's lots of illicit activities with cash, right? You and me can meet up on the street and you can hand me something and then I hand you cash and then the federal government never knows about that, which is great. It's anonymity. That's how it should be, right?
right.
Um, but if they launch their CBDC or their central bank digital currency, what's going to happen is the same thing. You could buy a sandwich for the wrong person, boom, they shut your wallet down.
Yep.
And so that's not what we want to see happen. We really promote personal sovereignty over your finances. And yes, it can be lost, right? But so can your car keys. And if you can't get a new car key made, then you're screwed. You should have just taken better care of your car key, right? And that's what it comes down to is personal responsibility. And the modern world is so used to
Yep.
saving all their passwords in a cloud and the bank's taking care of their money and you know the food is at the grocery store and the gas is at the gas station. Modern humans don't have to take care of themselves at all. Everything is handed to them on a silver plate. And so just the thought of having to keep track of a dozen words is mind-boggling to people when in reality it's just a couple of pieces of paper. Just don't lose them, right? It's not that hard. um and so if you can get people over that hurdle to just take some personal responsibility, basically they've cut the government and the banking systems out. Now, sure, at this point, if you want to go buy a house with your crypto gains, you pretty much have to turn it into some US dollars because most people aren't accepting crypto for houses at this point.
Yeah.
But that's just a temporary problem, I think.
Yes.
So like,
And like,
okay, so back to the question though. So like, the scary thing is the actual currencies of crypto going down. What would be the way to stabilize that at least a little bit? Because as of now, I have lost money on my HEX. I have not seen the pluses yet, and
You
it's
saw
been
them for a little bit.
yeah, like
well,
like
it's a scary thing for all new people in coin. There are ups and downs, and unfortunately, with the nature of people, people don't get into something until it's really doing well. So they're getting in at a height, and everybody's first dip is or bear market is tough. It's tough. And as far as losing your having the money go away and losing it, that's a scary thing, and it's definitely possible. That's why you need to do your own research, learn about it, and self custody is a thing that I say a lot on our streams. It's not for everybody because, like you say, people in general, like you forget your PIN number to your bank card. You call the bank, they reset it, you know, and you're good. There's someone that takes care of it. That's their custody of your money. They're giving you permission. If you lose your 12 words, you're done. It's like if you had money under your mattress instead of in the bank and your house burned down, it's gone.
yeah.
So it's not for everybody until you get to the point where you feel comfortable with it. And
So what could like just the crypto community in general do to make it? Because I gotta be honest, it is super like annoyingly complicated to set stuff up. Like I was in a call with Dustin. Oh my god, what 7 8 hours just trying to figure it out, and I gotta be honest, like it was a night. Like I honestly hated it at this point. Like once I bought it, I was just kind of like over it. Like honestly, like at that point, like obviously I want to see my money. I want to invest into things. But at that point, I was just like, bro, I'd rather just take my money. Like,
Yeah, it's exhausting. It's taken, guys like me and Brian years and years and
yeah,
years of having our heads down this rabbit hole and just being attached to this market and these communities and these technologies and being up to date with what the U.S. monetary system is like and monetary systems around the world. Like we're in touch with all that stuff. And it started out, we were just doing our own research, right? We just wanted to make sure that we were positioning ourselves to capitalize when everybody else is failing, right? It's just a mindset that we both had. And then it turned into, okay, we've retained a lot of this information and other people don't know it, and some people like to know it, some people learn about it and then are happy they did learn about it, not knowing that they wanted to know about it. And so we wind up out here educating people because nobody else is. If you go to the biggest crypto YouTube channel right now in the world, he is going to send you directly to a scam.
who's he?
He's gonna.
Who's he?
Oh, there's multiple ones. I don't want to throw out any names.
No,
but,
honestly, see, that's the thing. I over here, I don't care. You gotta throw out the name, cause like,
sure.
Cause like this is the issue. Like people are afraid of crypto because of rug pulls, scams, sketchy stuff, and everything like that. Like calling out the people that are actually scamming and stuff like that is actually kind of important to me because that's what can actually push crypto even further. Is getting those people out of the way for the people that are actually like really doing.
And so it comes down to this. Kind of brings us into what is a scam, because maybe I'm using the word scam too loosely. There is a lot of crypto projects out there that are let's just call it planned obsolescence. They're
Well,
designed to fail at a certain point.
before you answer, who are the people that you're talking about?
Almost everybody in the higher echelons of the cryptocurrency YouTube space. I'll throw a couple out just so you can watch out. Don't sue me, BitBoy, but BitBoy Crypto has been, in trouble. He's pushed a lot of things that have lost people a lot of money, and he's the most popular guy on YouTube. And that's because he says the things that make people feel good.
Yep.
He hops on the narrative. So whatever the armies of shitcoin shillers are out there talking about is what people like that pick up and they talk about because it's the most popular thing. They are not interested in your well-being. They are interested in clicks on YouTube. They are interested in ad revenue. They are interested in gaining trading fees by shilling their links, right? And so you have to watch out for people that are just there to line their own pockets because they do not care what happens to you. They just want your ad revenue. They just want your affiliate link traffic, stuff like that. And so you really do have to just be careful. I mean, if everybody's talking about something, 90% of them are probably going to get wrecked in it, right?
Right.
And so if somebody runs up and tells you, hey, go buy this new Doge Elon Shiba Inu coin, dude, just don't do it. Because it's a copy of the 500 coins that came before it that did the same thing, and people just don't learn.
Okay.
They just run out and they buy whatever their friend tells them to buy or whatever the random guy on TikTok told them to buy.
So
Please don't get your financial advice from TikTok, by the way.
Yeah, so there's two things I want to talk about. So the scamming part, okay, rug pulls, all that. And then also, I just had a brain fart. The scam. Well, let's just talk about scams. It'll probably come to me first while y'all talk about it.
Oh, well, here's the thing with the scamming in crypto, being that it's not regulated, anyone can make their own crypto. You could do it in 15 minutes on YouTube, learning how to do it, make your own cryptocurrency. So,
Bastrin coin. Bastrin coin, yup coin.
Absolutely.
That'd be hilarious.
And it's all up to how you market it and how you sell it. So it could have zero utility, but be very, very popular. And, you can create a certain amount of base supply and put them on the market. People start buying them. You're getting all that money for nothing. And then you just go away and the coin goes away.
Yeah, no, so like, can you explain how a rug pull, all right, before we talk about anything, I see a lot of you guys, talking about different stuff like Smokey. You said you just invested into something on Cash App or something, and you just already lost your money. There ain't no way, dude. There ain't no way, dude.
I mean, Cash App, I think the only thing you can buy is Bitcoin on there.
Yeah.
And Cash App works okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't invest my money on that specific app. To be honest. Hey guys, can you guys just spam one in the chat if you guys are liking this, by the way? Just trying to feel how you guys are about this. If you haven't dropped a like on screen, please do. I'm just gonna say this again. This is different. Obviously, you guys know I do Fortnite and gaming and all that. Yeah, but thank you guys so much for being in there. Brady, Caleb, Ecliptic. There you guys go. That's what. Hey, we need to get the chat hype, y'all. Let's go, baby. Let's freaking go. Ecliptic, let me know. Hey, message me when you're ready, bro. But okay, so I guess on to the next thing. So you got me into Hex. You literally got me staked into Hex.
Oh, there was one thing I wanted to bring up with that.
Yep, go ahead.
Before we go on, like you said, when you have money in the bank, it stays the same amount unless you take some out. So it's not going down on its own. Well, you have to try and look at that a little bit different. There's a saying in the Bitcoin world for years now, like what people say, what's a Bitcoin going to be worth in a year? Well, one Bitcoin will be worth one Bitcoin in a year. And when you look at your hex stakes, one of my onboards pointed this out, and it was great. I use it all the time. Regardless of the price, you look at your stakes every single day, the amount of hex in your stake goes up every single day. And if you're staked out for 10 to 15 years, you don't really care about the price in the short term. If you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, the long-term picture, everything goes up. Everything. So it's nice to be able to look at your stakes, and if you staked, just easy numbers, 1,000 hex, and the next day it's 1,002 hex. The next day it's 1,004 hex. Every single day you have more hex.
Right. No,
So
no, that is interesting. So, I wanna ask you one question, and then we have a mod question as well. So how come the hex number? I guess that's what you call it, right? Like the hex.
the amount of hex you have,
Okay. How come
yeah,
that goes up, but then my actual money goes down?
because the price per token is a variable. It goes up and down with the market. But
Okay.
the
Okay. So okay, I got that. So all right. So I'll say exactly how much I put in. I put in 650 exactly. I put it
okay,
in, I believe, March, right? That sounds about right.
Something
March,
like that,
yeah,
yeah.
okay,
March. I put it in like March. I'm staking it until June 9th, 2025.
okay.
Obviously, just a shot in the dark. Where do you think that this is going to end up landing when it comes to actual profit or gains or something like that? What does that actually look like? Because it's not okay when you're going into something like Hex, you're in it for the long haul, and you
Right.
don't necessarily want the gains only. You want to try to build something, because I feel like that's what you guys try to do with the Hex community. Is you guys are really ride die for that. I guess you would say it's a coin, right? Your token, or
Yeah.
it's okay. So yeah, what do you think it would be at by June 9th, 2025?
It's impossible to predict these things, right?
Yep, 100%. That's why I'm like shot in the
Now,
dark.
if we were going to pull up a log chart and look at the trend and, sort of be on the optimistic side, 2025, I wouldn't be surprised to see multiple dollar hex at all.
Yep. Agreed.
Um, and you're going to get all your yield or interest on top of that, but we like to call it yield because it's technically what it is.
Yep.
And so your amount of hex tokens are going to go up every day for being staked. Now you also have to take into account something that you don't see is
And I wouldn't
every
see it because I don't know anything.
right every time somebody decides I want out, I don't want to do this anymore, and they emergency end stake. Like you could go on right now, click a button, and just wreck your entire stake and lose most of your money, right? So there's a lot of people that decide to do that. Maybe they have an emergency, maybe their friends talk them out of it, maybe they get hacked and somebody emergency end stakes their coins.
Game Boss says, "What is being staked?"
Oh, that's a
Um,
good question. That's,
yeah, I think getting back to the basics, Hex is like a digital certificate of deposit. When you lock up a certain amount of money in a bank, you get a certain yield on it for a certain amount of time. When you stake your Hex, you're locking your Hex in a contract on the blockchain that will gain yield for every single day of your stake, just the same way a CD would. Um, and you Coiner was saying, you can end stake if you have a life emergency and you need some money, but you're going to be penalized. Now, in a bank, when you're penalized, who gets the money? The bank does. In Hex, when you're penalized, those penalties get paid to other stakers. They get divided among other stakers.
I have a quick question. What's the real life version of it? I was sitting there thinking of it. It's where you buy like this thing and then it appreciates in value. Like if you have a kid. Okay, so my great grandma every birthday and Christmas she'd get me this like it's almost it looks like a check.
Yep.
What is that? Like, it was a check for like however much, and then it's supposed to grow in value. What is that? Like, what
A
was?
saving bond, I think.
Yeah, it's a bond. Okay, yes, it was a saving bond. It was exactly that. Yes. So is that kind of the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, similar. Yep.
Okay.
Now the bank is going to give you 0.2, 0.5% on your money per year. And then you throw the inflation in there, and you're losing money when you're holding cash.
Yep.
So when you lock Hex into the contract, what you're doing is you're telling the rest of the market, look, I don't want to sell these for a really long time, and so by me staking my Hex, I am guaranteeing you that I am not going to dump these on your head. I'm not going to sell these. I'm not going to move that price down, right? So in Bitcoin, the miners, the people who secure the network, they get paid to do that by burning electricity, right? They use electricity to run their GPUs.
So
Like, right here's a mining GPU. Great big old nasty
Yeah.
$1,000 mining GPU.
Okay,
And-
I do have a question.
Right.
So, can you explain to people what mining is? Because to me, before I knew, it sounded like some like you go on Minecraft. Okay, you go on Minecraft and say you need a certain ore or metal or gold or whatever. You get like an auto clicker and then you just run through it and while you go do something.
Right. So at the bank, when you buy something, you buy a loaf of bread. That transaction has to go through servers in the banks, right? Because they have to verify that. And that transaction doesn't go through until the bank has decided, yes, this is legit, the money's there, the other party can receive it. Boom, a computer there pushes that transaction through. So all a Bitcoin miner is, or any other crypto miner, is just it's a server essentially that pushes the transactions through. However, it's not owned by a bank. The hardware is owned by different individuals, but there are millions of those individuals around the world all lending their power, and that creates a decentralized sort of banking network, if you will. So a miner, when you mine Bitcoin, you're just processing transactions, and you're comparing your ledger to everybody else's ledger and making sure everything is the same, and then boom, it gets pushed through and your transaction goes through. So you tried to buy a pair of shoes with crypto. The same as at the bank. You buy a pair of shoes at the store with your card. It's just a process of verifying that transaction. So that's all crypto mining is, right? It just sounds cooler to say mining.
Is 100 into crypto worth that 100 or a percent of it or less, etc.? Then is that money?
Hex
Crypto
is the same
taxed?
thing. So
How often or when if it
okay,
is?
Go ahead.
Hold on, we got a dono. William just said, is 100 into crypto worth that 100% or a percent of it or less? Then is that money crypto taxed? How often or when if it is?
So crypto works the same as most other assets. If you hold for less than a year, you are subject to short-term gains. So that's, what is that, 30, 35%, something like that? It's rough. If you hold it for more than a year, you get short-term capital gains, which is like 15 or 20%. Kind of depends on where you live. That's variable. So holding longer is better. I mean, look, the tax system built that in for you. They didn't have to tell you that it's better to hold it longer. They just gave you the interest rates and said, hey, look, if you hold this longer, we're going to screw you less later.
Yep.
So that's how that works. Hold it longer, you get to keep more of your money. Now, rich people, they just don't sell things. What they do is they just get loans on their assets, because if you get a loan on an asset, you don't actually have to pay any taxes on it because you didn't sell it. You just got a loan against it. So now you get to have all that money plus the 20% you would have, got nailed on the taxes. You get to keep all that money and you get to keep the asset. And so rich people just get perpetually richer by using this. So I'm kind of excited to get to that point where I can start doing that.
Okay, obviously I don't, it is personal for both of you, like I don't like to share how much I make, how much I this and that, but whatever you did put in, how much have you actually seen in terms of growth on your own personal stuff? like a percentage wise. It doesn't. You don't have to say an amount or anything like that, because I know that's But like just percentage wise, like actually like realistically, because you guys are into this. You guys are here today because you're passionate about it. You're passionate about the future of it. It obviously seems to be something that is at least worth it to you guys in some capacity. So how much in percentage wise have you actually gained or lost?
Do you want the real number?
I mean, if you want to give this...
you can just look at how many X's a coin has done over a certain amount of time.
Okay.
And Hex,
Well, like for the people that are in here, they're not going to necessarily know that right off rip. So like just like a genuine like percentage, like an actual percentage.
Okay, so if you bought Hex at the very, very, very bottom, the cheapest it ever was, and you held it and you sold it on the top, the most expensive it ever was, in 1.5 years, you got about 1,000,000%, and that's a real number. And that's before your interest in staking. So that's a 10,000x.
Right.
So you could have put $100 in that day and then sold it on the top, and you would have had $1 million. And if you were staked, you would have had 1.5 million.
Yeah,
I mean,
38%
and these
more.
Yeah, these aren't fake numbers. This is what happened to a lot of us.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising that we're kind of gung ho about this stuff, because we've seen it work, and we're just getting started.
Okay.
This crypto stuff is still young. Nobody knows about it yet.
Okay. So
the
you guys...
high volatility in crypto is what gets you the big gains. Without the volatility, you wouldn't have crazy gains like that. There's always going to be dips, always. The crypto market goes on. It kind of all goes with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin goes in 4-year cycles, and it's part of the game. You got to weather the storms.
Okay. So you guys obviously have been treated very well, I'm assuming then.
I have no complaints.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not like we got treated. We did our research, and we understood what we were looking at, and we rolled the dice. Everything in life is a dice roll. You drive down to McDonald's to do your next video, you're rolling the dice that somebody T-bones you. You know what I mean? So nothing is risk-free. The only way you can mitigate that is to do your research, to wear your seatbelt, to make sure your airbags work, make sure your tire pressure is proper.
Right.
You go through preventative maintenance processes, and in this case, it's just doing the research and then doing pre-research. Like say you're researching a coin and you don't understand what something means. Okay, back up, go learn what that thing means, then come back and research the coin. Then things will start making sense, right?
So, making pennies on the diamonds, right? Okay. So you put in like extremely small amounts of money. Like say you put $5 into Bitcoin. You're not even going to see basically any real profits. How much money genuinely? Now, obviously, don't put in more than you can.
Right.
But how much money do you really, realistically need to put in order to actually see some substantial growth, if it actually does, do what it's supposed to do?
Well, it comes down to that percentage. Like Coiner was saying, if you put in $100 on the early days of Hex and sold at the height, that's a lot of money from a little bit of money. So
like a generality though, like obviously more the better, but for the average person to see like at least a little bit of good gains, how much do you think they would probably need realistically? Because these people are probably thinking like, okay, well if I invest into crypto, how much should I actually put in? Because I know, okay, I put $100, that might be a lot to some people, but like, okay, if $100 is a lot to somebody, well then they put it in a crypto and they think it's gonna explode, then they're probably gonna get screwed out of that 100. And if that 100 means a lot to them, they're getting screwed out of that 100, and now they're hurt. But you could save them by saying, hey, don't even bother if you're only putting in 100, because that's not going to help you at all. That's really not that's making pennies on the dime. You know, like that's how I would see it, anyways.
Well, the way I look at it is, if you need that 100 and it's going to hurt if you lose it, then don't. But
Yep.
right,
if
but
you
like,
have the 100 extra, if you put the 100 under your mattress for 10 years, it's going to be $100 bill in 10 years.
right.
If you put that $100 bill into something that's an appreciating asset that gains yield, you know, it's going to be better. Plus, with inflation, you know, that $100 you put there today might buy you a tire for your car, but in 10 years, that $100 is not going to buy you a tire for your car.
Right.
You'd be lucky to get a loaf of bread out of it at that point.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
since a cryptocurrency, real quick, is not a U.S. dollar, it is not pegged. It doesn't cost as much. It doesn't have the same spending value as a U.S. dollar, right?
Right.
And so as the US dollar slowly creeps down in value, so here you could buy a tire with your 100, 10 years down the road, you can buy a loaf of bread with your $100. The crypto over here never had that same failure rate, right? The US dollar went down, but this stayed the same. It still works, it still gains yield, you can still swap it for other coins. You and a guy in China can do a transaction and nobody else has to know about it. No US dollars, no banking system needed, right? So that US dollar can fall into oblivion all at once. These coins are not attached to them. Now, they do make a thing called a stable coin, which is every individual coin is backed with one US dollar, supposed to be, without getting too complicated. Now, you can buy those, but you could expect those to stay at $1. So if you buy a stable coin, you're not going to make any money, right? It's just going to hold that value, and it's going to stay pegged to the dollar. So as the dollar falls, your stable coin also falls. So you're losing the game at that point.
Okay, my mod Temek asks, so what is the recommended amount to put in, though? Like,
so you can't recommend an amount, 100,000, right? But it's different for everybody.
Right.
Some people can only afford to start with $10.
Yep.
Some people have $100,000 that they can drop on it, you know, that they dug out of their shoe pocket, because some people are just wealthy, right?
Yep.
So the more you put in, the more upside you have, right? And that goes the same for any asset in the world. It doesn't really matter what it is. The more you put in, the more money that's going to give you, right, in proportion to what you put in. So if you just put $10 in, you're not going to make as much as the guy who put 100,000 in, right? Now you can sort of leverage that by doing good research and finding things that are actually most likely going to keep going up in the future.
Right.
And so if you leverage your investment with personal knowledge, with research, so like the guy who put 100,000 in Bitcoin, the same time, let's say I put $100 in HEX, I made more money than he did, because I didn't just take the easy route. I didn't just say, oh, I'll buy some Bitcoin and it'll be what it'll be. No, I went and I dug and I did the research. And I listened to these things being developed quietly in the background for a year and a half before they ever touched market. And in that time, I was able to learn what the benefits of these things are. So HEX isn't just any other crypto. It's a new evolution of money. So we started off with like seashells, then we moved to gold coins, and then we moved to paper money, and then we moved to credit cards, and then we moved to PayPal, and then we moved to crypto, and now we're just hitting that next evolution on the stair step up to what money will, I guess, someday be. And I guess that evolution will keep happening until the Earth gets hit by a giant space rock, and then none of it matters anymore.
Okay, yeah, I mean, dude, like, I just have a hard time with the volatility aspect. Like, if it wasn't so volatile, I would be, like, way more into it. But, like, with all the with all the people that have done rug pulls, like with the FaZe thing. FaZe did a rug pull, like Save the Children. I think that's what it was called. Save the Children coin, basically. They rug pulled, and the issue is this FaZe has now they're actually public, so now it's a multi-million-dollar business. Basically, I mean they went public after the fact, but they're a multi-million-dollar business. They had their members doing this thing. Now, FaZe didn't necessarily say, "Hey, promote this," but the members promoted it, and the next thing you know, it gets rug pulled. It's gone. That's scary to me. You have, because growing up, I watched FaZe. I wanted to be in FaZe. Now they're promoting these coins, and I could have trusted them, and I could have lost 10 grand, 20 grand. That's scary to me. Like
we have a saying called "trust but verify," right? So trust people that you trust, but don't take everybody's word. Like verify. If somebody says they're going to do something, you need to verify that they're actually doing that thing before you give them the trust, right? The complete trust, before you fully trust that, like it's proof of work. They have to actually do the work for you to be able to trust them, right? So I could have just talked about coming on stream forever, and then when it comes time to get on stream, I'm just like, oh nope, I don't want to, and then so you could have trusted me that whole time that I would have done that. But now it's verified. I came on, I brought another intelligent, articulate person on to help you guys learn this. So this is proof of work. I did the work. I came in, and you as well. You said, yeah, we'll do a stream sometime. And I trusted you that we would, but I was also like, he's kind of hard to get a hold of. I don't know, like, is this actually going to happen? But you verified that that's going to happen. So now we've built trust, right? So now next time we want to have an interaction, there will be less uncertainty.
Right.
So you just need to build trust, and until you have built a robust base of trust with a corporation or a person or a cryptocurrency, you need to go in and verify that what it says is true is actually true.
See, I think one of the issues with the crypto space is it's a money space. It's currency, whatever you want to call it. That attracts weird people. There's people that are criminals because of the way they make money, right? So I feel like in the crypto space, it attracts a lot of weird people because it is the Wild West. It's literally, I can go kill somebody, say it's the Wild West, I can go kill somebody. No one knows I killed the guy. So you got these people sitting over here like promoting whatever, rug pulling, but like, did they really do it? Did they mean to do it? Was it actually their fault? And you're sitting there looking at like the I guess you would say like the blockchain, like seeing like all the transactions. But like still, that's even kind of weird because you have to be like a sleuth to figure it out. So like one thing for me is anytime I've thought of crypto, I see very questionable people promoting or pushing or whatever. This goes for NFTs too. But like, I feel like the average person hasn't grasped it yet, and I feel like it's a very small niche of people that are trying to just take advantage of it completely. And I feel like that is like the dangerous thing for crypto's future anyways. Obviously, people are comfortable with governments just in
Which
general.
Is crazy.
Yeah, but like, it's the government. People, like if the FBI comes to your house, that they're trying to get to the bottom of something, whatever, right? But like, you have these people that are rug pulling, scamming, promoting BS stuff, giving you terrible advice. I just don't know how. I guess the question I'm trying to figure out is, what can they do to actually make it completely legit without without like completely saying, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that, and it's completely like a certain way.
Right. So we've built our own standards in the Hex community. One thing you need to watch out for is, like, one thing I like to look for is audits, right? Now, a lot of people might think of an audit as a bad thing, like, oh no, you're getting audited, what did you do? No, so what we've done in our space is we pre-audit everything. So the founder of Hex, in particular, he spent like $500,000 of his own money. He's a rich guy. He's been retired since before, most people in the chat were probably born. He's been around for a long, before crypto was a thing, right? He was retired and very wealthy long before crypto came along.
Can I do say something? So it's sure. Richard Hart, right?
Richard Hart. Yep.
Okay, so with me, the first time I seen him, I thought he got rich because of crypto. I'm just now figuring out because you're telling me that. See, that's another issue. I'm sitting there seeing this guy's lifestyle. I'm sitting there thinking, oh, he's rich because of crypto. Well, no. For the average person, they're sitting there seeing this guy doing all this cool stuff. He's doing this, he's that. He made it because of the crypto space, in my eyes. But little do I know, he's actually rich because of something else. And then, I don't want to say he has the resources, but he definitely had a leg up on what was happening because, maybe he was rich, maybe he had some extra knowledge, maybe he talked to some people in the back, maybe, whatever, right? So, like, that's kind of weird to me because people don't know how these people are getting their money. And that's also weird because I sit there and I see, Richard Hart flaunting and all that, and then I'm sitting there thinking to myself, this guy made good money off Hex. So is it a scam or not a scam? Is the people under him making money? How did he actually make it? I don't know. Still, that's just weird to me.
Right, so no one underneath him is getting paid by him, right? Any money that anybody has made in Hex has been because they bought the coin and they staked it and they just made those mad gains, right? Richard Hart isn't paying anybody to do anything. In fact, just the opposite. The guy is extremely strict about that. He doesn't want you to have any expectations of profit from the work that he's doing, right? From the work of anybody. So, like he's always said, if you guys want this thing to be awesome, you got to get out there and you have to educate people on your own. Hence the reason me and Brian are here right now in front of your audience, because we're out here doing that work. And we don't expect Richard to do anything. Richard just needs to go have fun because he's earned that, and the community can take it from there.
So,
one of the things with Hex that's unique and different that you learn, that took me a while to learn, the person that onboarded me just joined the chat. Tintop, what's up?
Tintop.
He was telling me about Hex for a couple of years, and I just wouldn't listen. I just, I'm not into it. But when I finally dove in, Hex is unique because there is no admin keys to the contract. It cannot be changed. It cannot be rug pulled in the way that other coins are rug pulled.
Okay. How did he make it like that though? Because I feel like, he's rich beforehand. Usually rich people always try to get richer. Usually they always say it's rich get richer, right? So
sure.
What makes him different than the average rich guy that then got into crypto? You know what I mean?
Him, he's doing it for the glory. He wants to have the world's most appreciating asset, and he wants to help better people. He wants to be known for doing good things. And I would imagine once you get to that level of money where you are rich, now you have to find something to do, and people find different things to do.
So would you relate him to someone like Mark Cuban with you know about Mark Cuban's like medical system that he has?
I'm not familiar with it.
I think it's meds. Hold on, let me look at it. Meds plus hold on, Mark Yeah, pharmacy. It's called costplusdrugs.com. Basically, they're undercutting the whole pharmaceutical industry. If you guys look it up, costplusdrugs.com, you can get cancer drugs for literally like nothing, basically. You pay what. Okay, so for instance, like if you go to buy like certain medicine, like I don't know,
like insulin.
Yeah, insulin or methylamine. If you buy it at retail, it's $766. Here it's $32. So
Right.
Is Richard Hart just doing it to try to better the world, or
I believe so. Yeah.
is there any type of gain that he's actually getting monetarily? Because it is his thing that he built.
It's hard to say, right? We can say for sure that he's never sold any HEX tokens. So the wallets, and we don't know which wallets are his necessarily, but the wallets that we think are his have never sold a single HEX. Now, it has sold a lot of other crypto, right? And that's his right to spend his money how he wants. But he's never gut punched the community. He's never sold that HEX on the market. And there's a lot of nuance there, a lot of stuff we could go into. But to keep it simplistic, basically he's a good guy. He doesn't want to make the world a worse place. There are good people in the world, and it seems like there's less and less and less and less all the time. But it's not impossible that one of the smartest people and one of the richest people in the world could actually just be disgusted with the world around them and want to make it better.
Yep.
And that's what he's trying to do. He's just sick of seeing the world of propaganda that we're in. Everything on TV is designed to harm you. Whether it's food commercials or drug commercials or money products or any other thing you can possibly think of, they're there to line their pockets, and they don't care if it harms you in the process. And there is people that are already rich enough that they ran out of things to spend money on. And now they just want to make the world better. They just want like a better neighborhood around them. They want to travel to other countries and be like, yeah, this is a nice country now. This is great. I'm having a better time here. There's better food. There's better facilities. There's less crime on the streets. Now I don't have to wear a bulletproof vest.
People are happier.
Yeah, people are happier. And he doesn't like seeing starving children. He doesn't like seeing people die because they couldn't afford drugs.
When he knows there's no reason for it.
Right. Most of it is it happens because people want to make money. Because at the end of the day, the benevolence of all evil is money. Yep. People just want to make money, right? But there's a select few amount of people out there that just want to make the world a better place. And we were lucky enough to kind of trip over this guy and find a guy who really wants to make the world a better place, and which is why a lot of us hold a similar sort of attitude is, I just want to educate people. I just want to save people. I see people broke and struggling all around me, and they have zero education. They have zero leads on how to get out of it. And they also won't listen to me when I try to teach them about crypto. So it kind of gets to the point where it's like, well, I tried. But I'm going to keep pushing on, and I'm going to keep trying to educate people the best way I know how. And, like this was a good opportunity to come on and talk to you and talk to your subscribers. I'm sure a lot of these people are feeling the same economic stress that most of us are, right? Your $100 that bought a tire a couple of years ago now barely buys brake pads. You can't buy a tire with that anymore. Your money is becoming worth less and less and less and less every day. Now, in the bank account, it looks like the same amount of money. There's still $100 there, but the spending power, the amount of things you can buy with it, have gone way down.
Yeah.
Yep. So 100 years ago, you could buy a candy bar for like a seashell or something, like nothing. It was basically free. Now you're spending a month's wages from 100 years ago to buy a candy bar.
Yep. And people don't realize, like when the stimulus checks came out, everybody was happy, free money. Well, where does that money get its value? It siphons it from the current supply in purchasing power. It goes down.
Right.
And that's how all fiat currencies, come to their demise.
So, so just really quick back to Richard Hart. So he made Hex. He put his Hex in. Is there a supply that he made up? How does that work? How did he?
Okay.
Because he put in however much he has of it, but theoretically, since he made it, he could have said, "Yeah, I have an infinite amount," and then anytime someone puts in something, this guy's like a billionaire. That's what that was. See, as someone that doesn't know that much, that's what it would seem like to me.
Right. Here's how he did it. He created the contract, the code, like any one of us can create a coin right now on paper. And it was a claim stage. He gave Hex free to anyone that owned Bitcoin. All you had to do was show your wallet that you owned Bitcoin, and you got a certain amount of Hex, depended upon how much Bitcoin you had. And that was the claiming stage. That's how it started. And after that, the inflation rate of Hex is 3.69% a year. Every year, 3.69% is created, like clockwork. But when the government inflates money, it creates new money, it gives it to the banks. When Hex creates new Hex in inflation, it gets divided among the staking class, only those that have Hex staked. And since only about 10% of all Hex is staked, you're taking 3.69% of a whole and dividing that into 10% of the people. So that's how it inflates. That's how it was created.
So he. Oh, we got it, baby. My bad. So he capped. So technically, he didn't have to cap himself, but he capped himself.
Yeah, he didn't need more money. He just needed something awesome in his life. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but could you say that because of the money he did put in initially helped it like stabilize, and at least for other people to be like, oh yeah, this is
theoretically he didn't put in any money.
Yeah, he didn't buy Hex.
He created Hex and gave it free to people.
Right, but what I'm saying is I guess it's like an investment. He wants like something to work and stuff like that. Money makes the world go round. So like you would think, okay, in order to make this work, I need to put in my own money to show people like, look, I put in my own money.
No, so he never put money in, right?
Right.
He never put money in. Now, what he did do is he created the most secure smart contract to ever exist.
Correct.
And one of the ways he did that is, one, he's a really smart dude. He was part of MEMSA, so he's one of the smartest people that you will ever encounter in real life. He's a very smart dude. And so he used that. He leveraged, right? He leveraged what he was building with his knowledge. And then also with that knowledge, he hired the best in the business to help him manifest it.
In that way, he put money in.
Right. And then he spent $500,000 to get this contract audited by professional companies that are trusted, who have done the work to be trusted, right? And so they're not cheap. Now, 99% of other cryptos don't do this. They don't put the money up front to get the code audited to make sure it's going to function properly. And that's where you see a lot of these rug pulls and scams.
Okay,
they launch,
So he was rich beforehand. I want two things. How did he get rich beforehand? And then also, you guys say that you can make your own coin pretty easily, yada yada yada. So I feel like when you're rich, you don't do a lot of your own stuff. You might have the idea, but I would imagine someone else wrote the code. Someone else did the thing, right? I would assume, right?
He initially did like a rough draft of the code, and he's not the best coder in the world. He's like, this is going to take me like a decade, so I'm going to hire the best in the business and they're not cheap.
Okay.
And I'm going to stand over their shoulder, and I'm going to make sure they do it right. And then I'm going to get it audited to death and back, right?
Okay.
From 3 different auditing firms, $500,000. We've got security audits to make sure it can't be hacked, to make sure there's no little goofies in the code that'll make some kind of a bug happen. He did economics audits to make sure that the inflation would work correctly. And they put this in a virtual machine, and they run it 1,000,000 times over and see how it could turn out given all different little scenarios. And they find the best one. This is how any science works, right? They find the best one, and they go with it. And then they audit the crap out of it, and they torture test it, and they do every terrible thing you could possibly think to it to try to break it. And there comes a point where there's nothing else you can do. It's just unbreakable for all intents and purposes. And at that point, 100% uptime. We are maybe the only crypto that I know of that has 100% uptime. Even Amazon, the biggest thing in the world, went down not too long ago, and they had downtime. So all of Amazon, the whole world's Amazon servers were down. That's bad. That's something that we try very hard to avoid. So through these processes, you can make sure that something is actually secure. Now what happens is most people don't want or care enough to hear these details, to learn these things. And so they just scream, scam, scam, it's a scam, it's a scam, Richard's a scam, look at him. But they never actually heard anything about it. They don't actually know anything about it. All they know is 99% of the other projects, they were right, were probably a scam.
Right.
And you'll never be able to dig the gems out if you don't learn this stuff. Or you can just avoid the crypto market altogether, and you can go to work for the man and make $15 an hour, and then get taxed 20% on top of that, and then your landlord takes the rest, and you're just screwed. You're perpetually screwed, you know.
So I got two. Sure. I think. Yeah, I got 2 more questions. So, what do you think about online casino gambling? And then, what do you hope that crypto is? How do you think crypto is going to improve in the future, just like in general, or what do you think it's going to look like? So gambling, and then what do you think it's going to look like in the future?
I'll take gambling, and then I'll let Brian take the other. Gambling is stupid. You should not gamble your money. Yes. I get if you're out with your buddies and you all want to throw $10 in the machine and have a good time. That's great. Whatever. Online crypto gambling is playing with fire. It's a stupid thing to do. It's like petting the buffalo in Yellowstone National Park. It's just a dumb thing to do.
Yep.
You shouldn't gamble. It's mind-boggling how many people buy scratch-off tickets, and they don't think that's a scam, and that's like the most blatant scam you could ever put your money into. And then they come over here and they scream scam at crypto people, and it's like, bruh, come on.
Have you seen like a site like Stake?
No, but I know there's a bunch of different gambling websites out there, and they're fine if you want to do them.
You get fight from it and you enjoy that aspect, but I don't think you're going to get rich.
Yeah, and just do your research and make sure that it's a legitimate site, because there is going to be scam sites where they say, oh, you get a roll of the dice, and then you put the money in, and then it's like, boom, no roll of dice for you, get out of here.
Right.
So that sucks, right? But then there's sites that actually work like they say they're going to work, where you go in, you roll the dice, maybe you win something, maybe you lose something. And if that's if that's the kind of button clicking you like to do, then more power to you. But I would highly advise against it,
right?
Because it's one of the quickest ways to lose your money is gambling. Sure, you can make a little bit, but
I have a quick story. So I put in $35 into stake.com. Which is ironic considering, you stake money into crypto or whatever, right? Okay, so I put $35. I ended up getting up to 1,000. And it was weird because like I was a new account and everything, but then once I hit their VIP, I basically didn't see another win ever. I never won. Like, I never lost money, but I lost a lot of the profit that I did get once I hit a VIP. So it's almost like a bait and switch where like they make you feel like you're going to be able to at least have a half chance of winning money, and then
it's just like the drug dealer. And they give you the first couple bumps for free, get you addicted, and then you just want to keep coming back, right?
Yep.
And it's just a business proposition. They just want to line their pockets, and they don't mind at all if you get wrecked, if you lose all your money there and you blow your head off the next day. They don't care. That's not their problem. They got their money, and they're happy. And so you have to avoid those traps because they're everywhere. And I mean, they're literally everywhere. The only way to miss these things is to arm yourself with knowledge before you go out there. And it's the same thing. You have to learn to drive before you drive a car. You can't just hop in it and go, or you're going to crash it, right? You're probably going to go through the front windshield because if you didn't know how to drive it, you probably didn't know there was a seatbelt either.
Yep.
And so everything in life, you have to have some backstory, some knowledge about it, or you're gonna, you're gonna wind up being a newspaper article. That's all that's gonna be left of you.
Casinos weren't there to make money.
Yeah.
If they didn't make money, they wouldn't be there.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm going to Vegas next month, and like
Nice.
I already know, how Vegas is, but like it's just something about sitting on the table and just hit stay. I don't know, it's fun. All right, last one, I guess. And you guys can make it as lengthy as possible. Where do you see the future of crypto? What do you hope for the future for crypto? You guys can go any way with it y'all want.
Well, I see crypto being mainstream very soon, but unfortunately, it's going to be like Coiner was saying, the USDC, government-controlled blockchains, just because of the nature of technology. That's where things are going. But I see a future for Bitcoin being a final settlement layer, and other coins working on top of it, including the USDC, or maybe not the USDC, but other prevalent coins working on top of it for quick transactions, over-the-counter purchases, and things like that. But Bitcoin, I see surviving it all and being the world's final settlement layer.
Yeah, Bitcoin's quite slow compared to more modern technologies,
6
more modern
hours
cryptos.
last week it took me for a transaction.
So Bitcoin will never be the world currency. You're probably never going to go to Walmart and swipe your Bitcoin card because it takes 6 hours, or it can take a long time for that transaction to go through, and that's not interesting to anybody.
Right.
So there's lots of new technologies or new coins, right, with better technology in them that move very quickly. So where Bitcoin has, what is it, 10-minute blocks or something like that. A lot of these coins will have a 3-second block, and then they can take 500,000 transactions and put it in every second. And so they move a lot quicker than Bitcoin. However, normally to make things function that quickly, you have to trade off some security. So it's going to be a less secure token to use and to hold, right? But it moves very quickly. So if you only use it to make a quick transaction, it's very quick. The store vendor's happy with that because it's sort of like Visa, it's basically instant payment. And then later, those transactions would get essentially recorded onto the Bitcoin blockchain. And then who cares if that takes 8 hours to kind of push through? It's just a final settlement layer. It's just the final, this is what happened on this day with this person, and then he paid that person that. And so it's just a giant receipt, right? But it's a very slow receipt. It takes a long time to type out on it. So there's newer technologies that are going to work quicker. Cryptocurrency is programmable money. You can program it to do whatever you would like it to do. And Richard came up with the great idea, like, why didn't anybody else think of this? We can program it to go up in price. You can program it to do that. And that's what we did.
William has a quick question. He said, if you put in, I think I could even answer this. Let me attempt it. He says, if you put in $300 and 5 years later you amass 5K, are you able to withdraw that 5K out as money in the bank or your wallet, or does it stay in crypto? So basically, the way you do it right now, from my understanding, is okay. Say you put in your 300, you get the 5K, you want to cash out. Basically, what you would do is you would sell it, and then so on Coinbase you would sell your crypto for USD, and then what you would do is you would hook your bank up to something like Coinbase, and then you sell your coin, it goes into USD, and then it goes into your bank. Now,
That's one way.
Yeah, that is one way. What is the other way?
Well, there's a lot of companies now coming out with cards. The biggest one out there is crypto.com, where it's a custodial wallet. You transfer your crypto, many different cryptos, from Bitcoin, Ethereum, on down the line, to your wallet at crypto.com, and they issue you a Visa card. And there's an app on your phone, and you can top it off. Say I'm at the grocery store and I got $28 on my card, but I have, $500 in Ethereum on there. I can say top off my card with $100 of Ethereum, sell it, boom, it's gone, and my $28 just turned into $128, and now I can swipe it.
So the apps that I have on my phone, I'm just gonna name them for you guys. This is what I have when it comes to anything that is connected to crypto. So right now I have, I'm looking. Wait a minute. Let's see. Okay, so I think Venmo you can use, Cash App technically you can use. Then you got Coinbase, you got MetaMask, and then you got, what was this app called? I think it was Staker, and then Blockchain. Those are the ones that I have.
Right. And so like I personally love using Cash App for this. I have moved tens of thousands of dollars through Cash App. I will sometimes buy Bitcoin on Cash App. I will sometimes sell Bitcoin on Cash App. Now, I don't personally hold Bitcoin, but because Cash App allows you to actually buy and sell and send and receive physical Bitcoin, I'm able to skip Coinbase altogether. I can just send my crypto to some little street corner exchange that nobody knows about. I swap it to Bitcoin, and then I send it straight to my Cash App. And the Cash App has a sell button. It's quick, it's there. I sell it, boom, it's US dollars on my Cash App, which I already use to pay for almost everything anyway. And so that's a super easy way that I've found to do it. And I get to cut Coinbase out. I get to cut one of the middlemen out. And I don't like Coinbase, because Coinbase is just like the bank. If your money's in there, it can get taken from you.
I guess a side question, gas fees are extremely annoying. Like, I understand it takes a power and a process, but, like, I don't like the fact that, like, I'll sit there and, like, when I was gambling on the thing, I would sit, I remember I put in my money, I won the money, I took it out, but then I was like, well, let me go try to play a game, see what happens. Every gas fee, it'd be from anywhere from like $2.30 to like $4. And I'm just like, okay, say I needed to like move some money around, send money here, send money there. That could amass like $50. What if I only have 200 in there? I just lost like, what, 25% of my money? 30%? Like that's actually a issue, and that's one thing I don't like. Like, MetaMask is the worst with that.
Well, that's a definite problem, and that's why Richard Hart is developing Pulse Chain to combat the gas fees on Ethereum, and it's going to be a layer 1 blockchain. Which, for those that don't know, like Bitcoin is a layer 1 blockchain, Ethereum is a layer 1 blockchain. But Ethereum is a blockchain that you can build on. So like I've been saying, you can make your own coin. You would build that coin on Ethereum. So it would be what's called an ERC20 token. So HEX has the contract it's an ERC20 token. It's built on Ethereum. But being that it's broken, and when I say broken, I mean the gas fees, they're prohibitive. You can't, go stake $10 worth of hex because it's going to cost you more than that to do it.
Yeah, no, it costs you, well, if you did 10, I think the gas for you would be like 60 to 70 cents. It'd be close.
That's low right now.
It varies.
Yeah.
But
it used to be basically free, but they, like you said, they basically broke the blockchain. They tried to do upgrades and they tried to change things, and ultimately what happened is it's slightly old tech and it kind of broke. It still works, but you pay way too. It's the most expensive database in the world.
So
you can't find a more expensive database.
So is the change based on human intervention or?
Yes.
Okay.
So the developers. Right. Well, what happened is it got overloaded. So you have a 5-gallon bucket, and at first it was enough, and they wound up getting a dump truck dumped on it, right? And so it just can't handle the load anymore. And that's they've inflamed that by trying to make upgrades and trying to change things, and then they went ahead and they kicked all the miners out, right? Which is what has made the chain work forever. And they're trying to go to proof of stake. And so this is putting them in a really sticky situation. It's wrecked the gas fees. It's cut everybody out that's not into crypto already. They're pretty much cut out of the deal, right?
Yeah.
It killed coins that were functional working coins that they don't work anymore because it's too expensive.
They got priced out. Yeah, nobody could afford to use them. Yep. It's like imagine you were paying $1 a gallon for gas, and then all of a sudden it's $100 per gallon of gas. Now the car still works if you could afford to put the gas in it, but since you can't afford to put the gas in it, the car doesn't work, right? So
and
it's
the gas
same thing.
Is actually still $1. It's the taxes on it that
right
for $99. Yeah.
And so our boy Richard Hart has once again looked at the world, found something he hates, and decided he's going to try to fix it. And so he is copying the entire system state of Ethereum. And what this means is he's essentially copying and pasting, but he's fixing all the problems with it that manifested all these issues in the first place. And he's relaunching it with a much higher token supply, which brings the gas way down, right? And you're going to get a copy of all your coins. So Bastrin, your stake, you're going to get a copy of that on the Pulse chain. So all of your coins are going to double. And since it still works the same on Pulse chain, the value proposition is the same. So theoretically, the prices should be in parity for the most part. So
that'll change over time.
Right. So whatever gains that you think you might get when your stake ends, just throw a smooth double on top of that, because you're getting double your coins. You're getting double your interest power as well. So since you're staked, you're going to have that stake on 2 chains, and both stakes are going to keep accruing that yield.
Okay.
And you're going to keep getting penalties from other people who emergency end stake. And so your value just kind of uncontrollably grows once you put it into this contract. Now, if you just leave it there.
It's important that you have to have your own custody. If you have ERC20 tokens at Coinbase gets the copies.
This is very important. So you have to have your own wallet and your own private keys, or this doesn't work.
Right.
Because just like your money in the bank is not your money, crypto on Coinbase is not your crypto. You don't have the keys for it. So you should really practice self-custody, which you have already, Bastrin. You have your own keys, you have your own wallet, you have your own coins. And so you're good. You're out of the rat race. Now it's just a waiting game, right?
Yeah. So I will say this, like, the way you guys make it seem, which I just want to make sure, the chat, the way you guys are talking is like HEX is one of those like things that it won't fail. Like, what are the chances that HEX fails?
Well, here's the thing. The price of HEX is the volatile thing.
Yeah.
But what the contract says it'll do, it will do.
Yep.
If you put 100 HEX or a stake 1,000 HEX for 15 years and you're getting 38% yield on it, you're guaranteed to get that amount of hex out of it. What the price of hex is on that day, that's to be determined.
Anybody's guess,
You,
right?
you will get that hex. It's going to happen.
So if a nuke, if there's a nuclear war in 10 years, no crypto is going to work at all, probably, and the price of each individual crypto will be quite low because nobody can use it, right? Now, assuming the Earth doesn't blow itself up in 15 years, and everything runs reasonably smooth, nothing will change. This contract is completely locked. Most other
Immutable.
cryptos have a thing called admin keys. And what that means is one person can go in and do whatever they want to that contract. They can mint more coins, they can introduce bugs that'll steal your coins, they can do all those terrible things. And
Rug pulls.
yep, rug pulls. And we very specifically designed that flaw out of the HEX contract, right? So it's completely locked. There is no admin keys. So when he pressed that launch button, he had to make sure it was right because there was no coming back. You can't even delete it. It's there forever. There's nothing. Like, Richard could die and turn to dust tomorrow.
Nothing
The website
changes.
could go down. The guy could just cease to exist and nothing would change. The contract will still work forever. There's no way to break it. The only way to break it's to blow up the Earth, basically.
And people, a lot of no coiners that I onboard, everyone has that question. Well, what if the internet goes down or the internet goes away? And my answer is, we've got bigger problems if the internet goes away.
Yeah.
The world runs on it.
So yeah, everything runs there. So if the internet goes down, you're not going to care about your crypto because you're not going to be able to do anything else either. It's all going to suck at that point.
Right.
Yeah, if the internet goes down, good luck getting money out of the bank.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as far as crypto goes, by definition, HEX is one of the only cryptocurrencies that exist. By definition, cryptocurrency means not traded on centralized exchanges.
Yep.
And that's why HEX doesn't get the popularity. It has to have the grassroots growth that it's having now through the HEX community, which none of us get paid for. Anything that's centralized can't be considered a cryptocurrency.
Right.
No, that's
because what crypto was designed to do was it was designed to put sovereignty back into people's hands, to put your own money into your hands for you to control. It's designed to cut out middlemen. So in order to get my money from point A to point B, we don't need a guy in the middle that's trying to scrape his cut, right?
Right.
We're cutting all that out. So anytime you see a crypto that requires a middleman or requires some dev to go in and fix something or any of this stuff, it's not a cryptocurrency by definition, like Brian said, and that's correct. I hadn't thought of it that way, but that's true. There are very few cryptocurrencies in the world that actually qualify to be called a cryptocurrency. Now, I've seen the polar opposite, where somebody sets up a little server in their basement and they duct tape a coin to it and they call it a blockchain, and it's like, this is not a blockchain. You're just saying that it's crypto. You're just saying that because you want money from people. You're lying to people, and it's disgusting.
Can I think this will leave it off. If there's any, if there's any, what problems does HEX have? Because nothing, they always say nothing in life is perfect, so just asking.
The problem I see with HEX is because it's designed so perfect, it's being gatekept. It can't be manipulated, controlled. The owner can't be, extorted money to be listed properly on ranking websites. There's a lot of misinformation because people are afraid of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, why would they be afraid?
Because it's going to eliminate the middlemen, and most of the people that complain about it are those middlemen making money off other people.
Right. So we're cutting into their bottom line. We're saying, hey, look, scumbags, we're gonna wreck you. We're coming, and we're gonna eat your lunch, and we're gonna beep your girlfriend. And they're afraid of that. They don't like us because we come for the throat, and we're not going after chains that are doing good stuff, people that are doing great things, we promote that, we uplift that.
Yeah.
We want more good in the world. But if you're going to be participating in scumbaggery right in front of us, you could expect us. It's like if you see some guy beating a 100-pound girl in the middle of the street, naturally you're going to want to go up and do something about that, right? You don't want to see that happen. You want to stop that. And so it's no different here. We see people getting victimized and wrecked and robbed and stolen from constantly. And if it gets too close to us, we step in and we put them in their place, and they hate that, especially when it cuts into their bottom line. They really don't like it. And this goes to the highest levels in the industry. Some of the top dogs are terrified of Hexicans, and they will come out here and they will talk crap all day long. They'll say their favorite word is scam, right?
Yep.
It's become our favorite word too, I think.
Pyramid scheme, Ponzi scheme, yeah.
And I bet 99% of the people in the chat can't tell you the difference between a pyramid scheme, a Ponzi scheme, an MLM, or any of these other things that they like to talk about. They like to say it in chat, but they don't actually know what it means, right?
Yep.
And it's in their best interest to learn the difference between these things, because once you can identify, it's a lot easier. Right. It's like if you don't know how to fix a car, just running up and telling the customer, I think it's this, without even looking at the car, it's reckless. You don't know what you're talking about yet. You got to get in there and look, and you have to actually diagnose to figure out if something is what at the surface level you think it is.
Okay, so K1 said, I'm assuming he's talking about HEX, not even in the top 200 cryptocurrencies. What would you guys want to say about that?
So that's interesting. So that's what that manual gatekeeping comes in. So
right.
So go ahead and go to CoinMarketCap, where they have us listed at 201. They've had us there forever. Now,
it's a joke. Club 201, we call ourselves.
Yep, Club 201. And so what happened is Coinbase doesn't like us because Coinbase can't make trading fees off of us.
Right.
And there's a lot of other very rich people in crypto who also don't like us. And they go to Coinbase and they scream and they cry and they throw money around and they say, hey, look, we'll pay you whatever we need to pay you to keep these guys at 201, or CoinMarketCap, excuse me, to keep these guys down here so the masses can't see the work that they've done, right? So every now and again, CoinMarketCap will break. They push through a little update or something, and they forget to manually put HEX at 201. And for that 5-10 minutes, it'll sit where it's supposed to be, which right now would be, I think, number 14. And overall,
listed at number 3.
Yeah, because for a while there, when it was at its all-time high, it was the third highest market cap in the world of any crypto coin. And that scares them, because we came out of nowhere. We just jumped out of the bush and was like, rah! And it just scared everybody.
No one heard of it, and it was number 3.
Right. And so there's all this money going into marketing for XRP and Cardano ADA and all the Shiba Inu. Oh my goodness, all these coins. They put all this marketing in, and they pay these exchanges and these coin market cap places a lot of money to get their faces on the front page.
Yep.
Now, if you refuse to line their pockets, they're going to stick you down as far as they can, and honesty goes out the window. They don't care that our actual real market cap puts us in the top 15 coins in the world as of today. They don't care because we didn't pay them off, and we're not going to pay them off.
And they don't even list the accurate market cap. I mean, even just the number they look, the coin market cap lists, look at number 202 and 200 and 199. It's way higher than them. And that's them showing you that. But market cap is one thing. Circulating supply times price, period. But all the different ranking sites have a different market cap.
Yep. Look at every coin ranking website. Every one of them has coins listed in a different place. None of them are consistent.
So do you think that could be possibly Hex's, like, I don't want to say fall, but like, I guess fall, is that, you have all these like higher ups, in the industry talking about this ain't it. Obviously.
Nope. Well, its downfall is its perfection.
Right.
because it cannot be manipulated and controlled.
Right.
It's a money for the people.
Right.
It's the opposite of a downfall, because if you look at it from a 1,000-foot view,
Right.
where are we at right now, being gate kept so hard? We're already at the bottom. You can only go up from here. You can only wipe out enemies upward from here. You can only punch up from here. So any of these places that want to gatekeep us, it's just opportunity when that gatekeeping stops, right? So
And that's I believe coming to an end with the launch of Pulse Chain.
oh yeah,
Pulse Chain is going to disrupt the crypto universe.
yeah, and Hexicans actually have a class action lawsuit for many millions of dollars against CoinMarketCap. So guys in the chat looking at CoinMarketCap, understand that we are already in legal litigation with these people. We are suing them for the tone of millions of dollars over this shenanigans. Did we have to? No. But again, if you're going to be disruptive and you're going to start beating a girl on the street right next to me, we're going to come over and put an end to it. And so that's what they've done. They directly stepped on our toes. There was no reason for it other than other people came in and lobbied harder, and we just refused to lobby. We're not going to go in there and pay them the money they want to get a inaccurate listing, because the listing they would give us, even if we did pay them, is still an inaccurate listing because they refuse to actually go in and do the chain analysis and see what the actual market cap is. So it's all opportunity. It's all up from here, right? You can't get any lower. You can't get gate kept any harder. We can't be hated anymore. We can't go down anymore. And we're only growing. We're only becoming more hungry. We're only getting smarter. We're like this unstoppable machine. And the harder you try to hold us down, the stronger we get and push up harder.
Yep.
It's sort of like, have you ever had an M&M stuck in the crevice of the couch? And the M&M sits there. But if you try to grab the M&M, the act of trying to grab it is what forces it further down into the cushion. If you had left it alone, it would sit there forever. But because you tried to grab it, it fell further down into the cushion. So every time they try to pin us down or harm us in any way, you're just provoking us to push back harder. And ultimately, that's what happens. There, as Richard said, there is a trail of dead bodies behind us from everybody who's tried to step in our way. We have done interviews with Peter Schiff, the gold guy. Everybody knows about him. We've done interviews with some of the most popular, biggest people in the world. Every single one of them lost the debate. Because we're coming at them with reality, with facts, with audits, with checks and balances, right? And they're coming in and they're trying to push a narrative to get money off of people. And when you're fighting facts with bullcrap, you're going to lose 100 out of 100. And that's what's been happening over and over and over for years and years now. And we're just getting started.
Yeah. Hey, this was good. This was so good. Like this was a good talk. Seriously, we actually, considering I didn't know too much or anything like that. Actually, I feel like I answered asked some good questions. You guys answered it very fluidly. Y'all held each other out. This was good. This was good. This was informative. Hopefully, everyone in the chat enjoyed.
W's in chat.
Yeah, W's in freaking chat. Look, I will say this, guys. I know this is a lot different than what I usually do. Obviously I'm not a crypto guy, and I've said that like 45 million times. But, I
have a suggestion for you.
What?
After initial conversations like this and learning about it, and everyone in chat too, you're going to come up with more questions in the coming hours and days. Write them down.
Yeah.
We can do this
That's
again.
what I wanted to do. I was sitting there telling Corner, I said, dude, I wanted to write down some questions, but like I didn't really know what to ask. I said, really, I'm only going to be able to ask questions once we actually start talking. And, that kind of proved to be how it happened, really. Guys, this was freaking great. This was good. This was good.
One comment K1 just threw in there. A downside to Hex is the fact that it's not entirely proof of stake. Proof of work is inefficient. Proof of stake is more secure. Well, for starters, Pulse Chain that's going to launch will be proof of stake. So it's going to basically make Ethereum, a system state copy of Ethereum, proof of stake. But that's a debate in the crypto world. Bitcoin is pretty darn secure because it's proof of work. I have mixed feelings on that.
Yeah, so further decentralization, Bitcoin is very decentralized, and Ethereum was quite decentralized until they tried to switch to ETH 2.0. It does create more security, but there comes a point of diminishing returns, right?
Right.
When it comes to security. So what ultimately winds up happening is you get more security than you need. Like how many locked gates do you need in front of your house? Are 3 of them going to be any better than 1 if the guy can just hop over them? There comes to a point where 30 shotguns isn't going to help you any more than 1 shotgun, because you only have 2 arms. You can only run 1 or 2 shotguns at a time. So having more security isn't necessarily necessary. Sticking another 30 airbags in your car is just going to complicate things. Like, there's enough airbags already. You don't have to redesign it. So proof of stake works great. It's very secure, but the problem is it's sort of Wild West in the sense that there's no rotation of the miners, so the biggest miners can just keep getting bigger. And it comes to the point where you're paying miners not to attack you. So you're paying the same people that protect you, you're paying them to not attack you, because they are the only ones that can attack you at that point.
I do have can you mine Hex? Or is it because it's Ethereum it doesn't?
So Hex is very much like Bitcoin with a proof of work change. So instead of, I'm just going to go all Richard here, instead of paying miners to pollute the environment, like Bitcoin miners, right? Because it takes a lot of electricity to secure Bitcoin. So instead of paying them to burn electricity and wreck the environment and enrich power companies, Hex stakers get paid to hold the price up. So we get our inflation. We mine by staking. So when you staked, you got a certain amount of T shares, or a certain amount of a T share.
What is a T share?
The T share is your miner, right? So instead of a GPU, a physical GPU that I went and paid a lot of money for, you pay a similar amount of money to get a T share by staking.
Okay.
Now that T share, depending on how many T shares you have, you will get a certain amount of interest or yield every day, right? And so instead of running up my power bill to get a little bit every day, I just take money, I put it straight in. Instead of putting money into that and power, I put it into a coin and I pay a little gas fee to lock it. Now what actually happens is when you lock it into a stake, your coins burn. They disappear. They're no longer in circulating supply. But your position on the ledger remains. And so since you have burnt that supply, you've taken it off of the market. It cannot be sold. It cannot push down the price from that point forward. So when your stake ends, you go in and you end your stake, and you will remint all of your own coins, all the coins you started with, plus your own rewards. So again, there is no middleman. You're not going to a guy and saying, "Hey, my stake is up. Can I get my coins?" There is no guy. It's all code. It's a contract. Richard has nothing to do with it. He doesn't know. He doesn't care. He just launched it, and you can decide to use it or not use it. There's no one that's going to stop you. There's no one that's going to try to take your money if you do. It's just you and the software, you and the keyboard, you and the screen. There's no one else. Nothing else.
Here's an important feature of the T-share. It built into the contract, the T-share rate in terms of Hex per T-share only goes up almost every single day.
Right.
So you're guaranteed to get more Hex through the contract that way. Like currently now, what is it, about 6 Hex per T-share a day. So if you had 1 T-share staked, every single day you're getting 6 new HEX in your stake.
Okay.
So I think yesterday was like 13 or something, wasn't it? It was a pretty good day.
Really?
Yesterday or today. Yeah.
You get different amounts. It varies with how many stakes are ending and how many are created. But a T share, T stands for trillion. So if you have 1 trillion shares of the HEX product. And out of the 3.69% inflation, it all goes into T shareholders.
Right.
So
Nobody else gets it.
If you had, 1,000 HEX just sitting in your wallet, not staked, you don't get any of that inflation. You just get your coins. In order to get the inflation, you got to be staked. So, and being that it goes up, like right now, I don't even know how many T-shares or how many HEX a T-share is, but it goes up every day. So if you have 1 T-share today staked, you're getting 6 a day. At the end, when you print your coins, if like say HEX is 20,000, T-shares 20,000 HEX today, if in 10 years it's 50, 60,000 HEX, you're printing 60,000 HEX. So you started with 20, now you're getting 60. Plus, in 10 years, the value of the underlying asset goes up.
So another way to think about it is, this is your T-share. Let's say I paid $1 for it, right? What's the best way to think about this? So I paid a certain amount of money for this, and in time it loses value, right? The hardware itself loses value because it gets old, it gets hot, eventually it breaks, right?
Obsolete, better hardware comes out.
And so you lose all your money on that, except for what you mined, right? So maybe you make your money back. Now, the T-share doesn't go obsolete. The T-share doesn't get old. It doesn't break. The T-share is just code. It stays there forever. And, in fact, the inverse is true. So, because the amount of HEX that it takes to buy a T-share, that amount only goes up. In the beginning, it was like 60 cents, 60 pennies to buy a T-share. And then I saw T-shares get as high as about $10,000 US.
Almost at 10, yeah.
So I bought a T-share at 60 cents. 2 years later, the next guy who wants that same T-share has to pay $10,000. So that sucks for him, but that's great for me.
Right. No, that makes sense. That does make sense. I do have one thing I want to share with you guys.
Sure.
So on my what is this called? Yeah, staker. I don't think it matters, right? I don't think it really matters. Okay, so I initially put it into 650.
I thought it was 500. I think it was 500. I was there with you.
I don't have to.
So yeah, and then we saw it get as high as like 650 because we had a little run up to like 28 cents or something. And so you made a little bit of money on it, and then it went back down. So what that is, what you're looking at there, that number on your screen is, the way I like to think about it, it is a representation of how much upside you can get later. Yep. So you see it's low right now, which doesn't ultimately matter because you're staked. You don't care what the price is right now unless you're buying or selling. But you're not buying or selling. Well, you could be buying, maybe, but you're not selling because you can't. It's locked. So it's protecting you from selling your investment prematurely, right? You could go in and sell it, but you just lose all your money. You'd be even worse off then.
Right.
Or you practice what's called delayed gratification. You said you were going to do something on the blockchain, and if you do it, you will get rewarded quite finely from the contract. Now, if you don't do what you said you were going to do, which is wait 1,000 days or however long you staked it, you're going to get penalized for that. It's the truth engine, is what we call it.
Stake, save yourself from yourself.
Save yourself from yourself. So that price right there is just a representation of how much lower it is than when you bought it, which means you could buy that much more for that much less right now, right? Now later, as that interest keeps accruing, and you got to understand, all of crypto, all of stocks, all of everything is in a bear market right now. It's not just HEX that's down. If you owned any other crypto, it would look just the same. It'd look terrible, look down, because that's the whole world. The whole world is down, getting kicked right now, right? The only thing that isn't down is your ability to capitalize on the future, and that's for everybody. Any asset you buy, short of housing, because housing's still in a pretty nasty bubble. I would not buy a house right now if you could avoid it.
Yeah.
But everything else, Bitcoin is cheap. Ethereum is cheap. A lot of things are quite cheap right now.
Right.
So naturally, humans, they don't want to buy things until it's all over the news cycle. Holy cow, Bitcoin at 60,000. It's going to 1 million. Everybody goes in and buys it at 60,000. Well, then what happens? It goes into a bear market. It drops down to 10,000 or 15,000. And they're like, oh, this is a scam, which in reality, all they had to do was just do the opposite of what they did in the first place. They should never have bought something at the top. So just look at the chart. You can see it peak, and then it goes back down for years.
You're supposed to buy
and then
the top,
it peaks,
sell the bottom, right?
And then it goes back down for years. So during those years of down, you're supposed to be buying right there, and you're supposed to sell at the top. Don't see it at the highest it's ever been and be like, ooh, I want that, because it's going to go back down low and you're going to feel wrecked. Instead, let everybody else buy at the top and go, woohoo, we're geniuses. And then when it goes down to the bottom and they all panic sell and scream and there's blood everywhere, that's when you should scoop a little up, even if it's $10, even if it's $20, a little bit, right? Because later, when you go back to the freaking moon, you get all those gains. It all comes to you. They give their money to you, and all you have to do is just fight that urge to do the stupid thing. Humans just naturally, like thanks, Creator, for making us want to do such stupid things all the time.
Right. You see what Dominic said? He said, Corner, what's up, my guy? I have 3 ETH, 26 Solana, and 55 million Shiba.
So I would, not financial advice, keep your ETH. Those are going to be great. Get out of that Solana, man. That blockchain has had problem after problem after problem after problem. Dude, they didn't get the audits, okay? Yep. They have the admin keys. They have all the terrible things we've been telling you to watch out for this entire stream. All of that is manifested in one word, Solana. So I know there's Solana shills out there. They're diehard, and we've already watched them lose money over and over and over when the chain gets hacked, when the chain gets shut down, when all these terrible things happen to it. And it's avoidable. Just don't hold the bad things, right?
Or as the Shiba, keep it, but make sure you self-custody it.
Yep, self-custody your Shiba, because what's going to happen is that 55 million Shiba, as long as you have it in your own wallet, is going to get doubled. You're going to get a copy of it on Pulse Chain. So then you're going to have 110 million SHIB, right? And being that Shiba Inu is an extremely popular coin, there's a very high chance that a lot of those users are going to migrate to Pulse Chain, and there's going to be a lot of liquidity on Pulse Chain for you to profit off of that. Now, Solana, I don't think Solana's a layer 1, isn't it? I think Solana's a layer 1, and yeah, it's got the marketing. It's got millions of dollars worth of marketing and memes and all that stuff behind it, but that doesn't make it good. I mean, look at the dumbest products that you ever seen. You'll see it as seen on TV. It'll say right on the package, as seen on TV. It has been all over the TV for a decade. Everybody knows about it, but everybody who's ever actually bought the product will tell you that it's a terrible product. But it just has the best marketing, so everybody bought it anyway. So it's the same thing with these coins that have the best marketing. And, you know, the Solana guys aren't out here having a conversation with us. The Solana guys aren't out here hitting Bastrin up trying to teach him about the good stuff. And they're terrified to come talk to me or Brian or any of the other Hexicans, because every one of us is going to bring the heat to them. And they walk the widest circle around us you've ever seen, because they don't want that kind of smoke. They don't want it. They're afraid of it.
They can't. They don't have answers.
Well, they don't have answers. They don't have a leg to stand on in this argument. They know their stuff is trash.
He said he got in at 30 for Solana. I don't know what it's at now, higher or lower, but that's the. And I'm going to go Richard Hart here. You know, what do people care about in crypto? Price go up, price go down, price go up. That's all they care about. Well, Hex fixes that because it has yield.
Right.
And self-custody yield. Like, you can stake other coins at other centralized places, but you're giving up custody. Right. When you stake Hex, you're not giving up custody. It's attached to your wallet. And Bastrin, I got one question for you. Do you remember setting up MetaMask?
Yeah, I do.
Did you give it your regular email address and regular password?
No.
You didn't give it any email address or name
No,
or any.
I give it a email address, but
No, you didn't.
There's no email attached to MetaMask.
wait a minute. Hold on, let me see. Hold on. Trying to
That's
think
what
now.
self-custody means. It's those 12 words. That's it. It doesn't care what your name is,
Yeah,
where
that's
you
right.
live.
Yeah, that's right.
So in
Nothing.
fact, the only way to break that self-custody, now you can still keep your coins, but nobody will ever know what coins you have, how much yield you're generating. The only way anybody can see that is if, one, you give them the public key, right? Which, like, I have your public key. I can't get in, but I can see yours because we chatted
Rest,
one time
not
and I
key.
have that, right? So I can see what you have if I so choose to go look, but I don't care. Now, if you send anything from that wallet directly to Coinbase, now Coinbase, who is in the pocket of the U.S. government,
Yep.
knows that you're affiliated with that decentralized wallet. So understand, every time that you send, I'll finish up and then you can go crazy.
Yeah.
Every time you send your self-custody crypto to a centralized source, you are doxing yourself, and the tax man can tell that you have that crypto. So try to stay as decentralized as much as possible.
What should I
Go
get
for it.
started with? If I'm a complete beginner.
Let's go, Crutch. Let's go, dude. My man dropped the 10. Yes, sir. Supporting out here. That's all I to see. All right. So I guess we'll go. I guess we'll actually end it off with Crutch's question. All right. What should I get started with if I'm a complete beginner? That is a good question. I mean, you know, because if you're a complete beginner, you don't know what's going on. And say you don't have someone to teach you, like I had someone teaching me, but you know, what if you're not that lucky? You know, like okay, not the learning process, but the coin or something. And obviously, I know you guys will probably end up saying like HEX, but like, yeah, I mean,
Well, I would suggest, I mean, the HEX community is unlike any other community I've ever seen. Everybody's just willing to help. And I would suggest, you know, like I'm in a Discord channel, the HEX token Discord channel. I help people in there practically every day. Join the Discord and ask for help. We'll be happy to help.
Yeah, that might be one of the best ways to do it, is kind of pre-join the community. Come in, look around, ask some questions.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. There's no stupid questions. It's
Right.
there's only stupid people, and you.
And then ultimately, you're going to have to fiat on-ramp. So you're going to, at some point, you're going to have to turn US dollars into crypto, unless you can find some other interesting way to get crypto, get paid in it or something, right? But you're going to have to start with a centralized source. So you'll have to start with like a Coinbase, or you can do like Cash App, right? You can just buy some Bitcoin through Cash App and then send it to some other wallets. The only problem there is Bitcoin can't be sent to a MetaMask wallet or to an Ethereum wallet.
Right.
And so you would have to convert in there at some point, which costs money. So unfortunately, I think the easiest way for a brand new guy to get in and actually start learning a little bit about the technologies is to go to Coinbase.com. Give them your email and your KYC and all that stuff, because you kind of have to if you want to start playing the game. You know, like on Steam, if you buy a game, they know who you are, they have your bank account. You're gonna have to sacrifice a little bit to get the Call of Duty, right? To actually play the game. So
I think his actual question is what coin should I buy? Like, you know, like just what coin? Like just or you know, like
I think Winner and I have the same answer.
yeah,
right. We're biased, right?
Yeah, I know.
But we're biased for all the right reasons. Okay,
yeah.
So they're saying HEX. They're saying buy HEX, but X out HEX. Pretend it doesn't exist. What does he buy?
Ethereum, because you have to have Ethereum to, as of right now, you have to have Ethereum to interact with HEX or any of the other smart contracts. Or you could just buy some Bitcoin. But understand that Bitcoin doesn't have as much gas left in the tank. Bitcoin came out 13 years ago. The richest people in the world already bought it. Some countries already have it as their reserve currency. So understand that you are buying, when you buy Bitcoin, an extremely over-matured market. So your upside, maybe in years you'll get a 5x or a 10x. That's great. But if you get into something like HEX, no expectations of profit, but just based on what we've seen it do in the past and our forward looking point of view, it looks like it's going to outperform Bitcoin by a whole lot. So you could just buy some Bitcoin and hold that and get used to it. See how it feels in your hands. See if you like crypto. And when you're ready to take another step in and start getting into real crypto, get down and gritty and get into this good stuff, you'll have a basic understanding. You'll have done some research, and you'll be able to safely set it up and do it. Because a big problem with getting people in isn't just gas fees, but it's also them learning at a steady rate how to use this stuff, because this stuff isn't easy. It takes, once you know how to do it, it's easy, but getting to the point, ask Bastrin, getting the point just to start using it is difficult. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes focus, it takes the willingness to want to sit there and do it. So if you want to get into this stuff, you have to take the time to learn it, you have to take the time to understand it, and you actually have to like it, right? If you don't like this thing, you're not going to take it seriously. You're going to lose your keys. You're going to fall for a phishing scam or something, right? Something's going to go wrong if you're not bringing your A game.
Yep.
But again, guys, the whole world is like that. Everything is dangerous if you're not doing your due diligence.
What I will say, guys, is it's your money. Money is valuable, even with inflation. So you got to be smart. It's one of those things where if you got the money to invest, do your research, complete research on your own. Even though we're talking and we're giving advice, we're not telling you specifically to go do this or that. You got to listen to a whole bunch of different things, read a whole bunch of different things. Don't be tunnel vision about what you're doing. Don't sit there and think, oh, they said get this because they made money? Okay. And then next thing you know, you put in your whole life savings. Next thing you know, tomorrow, I don't know, someone emergency ends their stake. And then, or not that, because you actually profit. But say that just the market drops. Then you lose like half your savings, and then you're screwed. Or say you just don't have a lot of money and you put it in, well then you just lost that money when you could have bought like, I don't know, something else. Or saved it for something else in the future. You just be smart, guys. Just be smart. Don't be stupid. Obviously this ain't a stream where Coiner and Brian, they have stakes into HEX. I also have stakes into HEX, but I'm not telling you to buy HEX.
Right.
Don't buy it unless you're 100% sure that's what you want to do. Okay?
Yeah, go do your research. Go to hex.com.
There's a comment from Dominic Lopez on there. He wants to try get into HEX a little bit. He's asking if it's on Coinbase. This goes back to one of the downfalls, so to speak, of HEX, where it's not on Coinbase. It's hard for a newbie to get it. Even people that were into crypto. I got friends that were into Bitcoin with me 6-7 years ago. When I told him about HEX, he's like, I believe you. Just get me $1,000 worth. I'll give you the money later. I said, well, it's not that easy because of the gatekeeping. It's not available on exchanges. You have to get Ethereum on an exchange, transfer it to your own custody in your own MetaMask wallet.
Yeah, MetaMask. MetaMask, was it metamask.io, not .com?
Yes, correct. Not .com. MetaMask.com, bad. Very bad. Red lights flashing. Don't go to metamask.com. Scumbag people. Again, every turn. Scumbag people. MetaMask.io. Okay?
Yep.
If there isn't an IO at the end of it, don't even click it. Just metamask.io. In fact, we'll put it in the chat.
Easier way is to type it in the address bar, metamask.io. Don't Google search MetaMask. But anyway, so you transfer your Ethereum to MetaMask and then swap some of it into Hex.
Right.
Not all of it, because you'll need some Ethereum to pay for the stake.
Right, the gas fees.
Hypothetically, if you had $300, you buy $300 worth of Ethereum on Coinbase, create your MetaMask wallet, transfer all of it to MetaMask, and then I would probably convert 250 of it into Hex, and then stake that $250 worth of Hex. And then you'll end up with some liquid Ethereum in your MetaMask, but you'll need that to end stake whenever your stake is ending.
Yep. Let me see. So, guys,
and we've got microwaved beans, our favorite word right there.
Hey, all right, guys. So, look, this is the website. Do not spend any money unless you are 100% sure. But that's their website. Read everything. Obviously, you got to realize it is their website. Okay, so even if they say, hey, this or that, still get other sources, but still read what they have to say. You gotta see what they are saying about themselves, and then also go see what other people are saying about themselves, or other companies are saying about themselves. You know, a whole bunch of stuff. Just do your research. Please do your research, guys.
And
please.
There is endless resources. Once you go to hex.com, there should be more links down there, like tech specs, and there is an absolute sea of information. So there's nothing you can't find out about Hex. It is the most transparent cryptocurrency smart contract in the world. There's nobody else that's doing it like us. There's nobody else that's out here telling you, yeah, crypto dips 95%. We tell you that.
Yep.
It's also on the website that it was designed to do a 10,000x in 2.5 years, which it did. Okay.
Yep.
And that was because it was designed to do that. This is programmable money. You can put things in a row in such a way that probability would have it that a certain outcome would happen, right? This is how they launch rockets into space. They can't test the rocket because it might blow up when they test it. And if like the rocket that the people get on to go to space, that rocket has never been tested. It's never been launched because rockets are single use up until recently. I think Elon's got some stuff there, but you got to be careful, guys. Take your time, do a lot of research, and don't do anything except for research until you know more, until you're comfortable. Like microwaved beans, here he comes. Solana is a better chain, in my opinion. Ponzi-nomics, my dude. So this is a prime example of somebody who hasn't done the research, but likes to talk. And no hard feelings, man. We've dealt with thousands of guys that do the same thing, and that's how we can come in here and stay calm and talk articulately. And I would love to have a realistic conversation. Like, come on stream sometime and tell me why Solana is better, and I'll tell you why I think Hex is better. And it doesn't have to be a tribalist fight or anything like that. No spear chucking, none of that. But just good conversation and real facts, real points. That's all it needs to be in this world. There doesn't need to be name calling, and you're allowed to have your opinion 100%. And maybe Solana has treated you great, but do a little more research into Solana, and you will see that it has all of these negative attributes that we've been talking about the entire time.
Yep.
And we have seen the chain get turned off over and over and over and over, and that's the stuff you need to be careful with, because if they can go in and turn that chain off, they can go in and they can reroute the liquidity, and they can take all your money. Yep. And they can run off into the sunset, because probably the Solana guys don't even have the real founders on the website. They're probably anonymous, which means you don't know who to sue if they run off with your money. You know who Richard Hart is. He's out there flexing in everybody's faces all day long. You know who I am. You know who Brian is. You know who Bastrin is. We're out here showing our faces, having real conversations, educating people. So, and again, no hard feelings. But when I see stuff in chat like that, it's like, I take it with a grain of sand, but the problem is the damage you might do to somebody else They see
Right.
a wrench next to your name. It's highlighted blue. They see Solana. Now, if somebody runs off and buys Solana and gets wrecked, they might come back to microwaved beans and say, what the heck, dude? You told me Hex was a scam and Solana was good, and Solana took all my money.
Yep.
You don't want that.
At the end of the
And
day,
we don't want that either.
Yeah, at the end of the day, don't buy either unless you 100% know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Do your research.
I'm not hating on Solana. I don't even know what Solana is. I'm not hating. I really still don't really grasp completely what Hex is. Completely. So I can't even say Hex is better either. Really.
Right. Because you're still learning.
Yeah, I'm still.
Yeah.
You're still in that process of doing your research, and that's great. Everybody should do that. Everybody should do 100 times more research than they do anything in crypto. They just need to learn.
Yep.
Think of it like an education. You're not allowed to be a doctor until you've done that proof of work. You have to go through the process. You know, you could try. You could just find a homeless dude and start cutting. You're probably going to kill the guy and wind up in prison. Probably not the best way to go about it. Get your education before you touch anything. Go learn. And one of the best ways to learn is take $10 to Coinbase, buy some Bitcoin, buy whatever, move it here, move it there, look at all the coins, learn about it. Just get your brain familiarized with what this is and what buttons you have to press to make it function correctly. And until you've done that, I mean, that's what I did. The first time I bought crypto, I was terrified. I put $10 in, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to lose $10. But it's like, well, it's $10, so who cares, right? I was going to buy beer or something anyway.
When I said they can turn anything off, come on. Showing faces don't mean scams.
Hex cannot be turned off unless you blow up the planet or turn the internet off. You cannot turn Hex off.
As long as Ethereum exists, Hex will exist.
Which is also soon to not matter because we're creating our own chain for it to live on. So that way, if ETH farts itself to death, which it's been doing over the last year or two, that's okay because there's going to be an alternate chain for these things to live on. And see, we're actually out here trying to save you guys. We're trying to save the Solana guys. We're trying to save everybody. See, when Pulse Chain launches, a lot of that overuse of the chain, there's way too many people using the chain. There's way too many contracts that are doing way too much stuff, and that's why the fees are so high, and sometimes it's even slow. Yep. So by launching this new chain and giving everybody a copy of their coins, you're allowing those people to off-board off of Ethereum and come use a chain that's going to be fast. It's going to have low fees, and that will in turn make Ethereum faster and cheaper to use.
Yep.
So we're not even trying to necessarily compete with Ethereum. It might turn out that way, that we're better. Who knows? We don't know. We got to launch it, and we got to let it mature first.
And there have been other forks, not forks, other copies of Ethereum in the past.
Yep.
People take it, they say that they see the gas fees, they tweak the code, they try to fix it, and they launch their chain. But they launch it empty, and they have to entice people to come use it. Mm-hmm. This is the first system state copy where if you're on Ethereum, you're going to be on Pulse Chain. You're already there.
Yeah, your coins are already there. All of your coins with your private keys. Yep. All of your wallets, all your private keys. So at no point do you ever lose custody of your coins. And I don't care whether you've got Solana or Hex or Shiba Inu or any of those other things. They all are going to be equally secure and equally on the Pulse chain for you to use.
Solana.
Yep, it'll all be there. So again, no hard feelings, guys. No spear throwing, anything like that. Let's just have good conversations and let's not make rash statements that may have zero merit behind them. This is all about having conversation, guys. Yeah, we learn more from each other.
This was good. This was actually freaking. Oh my God, this was actually really good. This went better than I thought it would, considering, like I said, I didn't know anything. Still don't know much, but I'm starting to learn a lot more. Hopefully people that did watch takes advantage of this.
Do you mind if I throw a link to our Hex token Discord server?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Guys, just do your own research. Realize that if you do go in that Discord, it's pro hex. Okay, just realize that because this is your money. Do not buy anything you're not 100% comfortable with losing.
Right.
Do not.
And the Discord's family friendly, and I'm a mod. Don't make me kick you.
Yeah, and that's rule number 1, guys. Do not invest more than you can afford to lose. So don't take your rent money, don't take your grocery money, don't take your gas money and buy crypto with it. Take your bad habit money and buy crypto with it. Instead of that pack of cigarettes or that beer or going out to the club on Friday night, scrape a little bit of that and put it towards your future.
What I will say,
if you want to get into it.
Research.
What I will say is, say you don't want to invest any money in any crypto. At least learn about it so you're aware of what's going on in the space. So in the future, you decide to make a move, well, then you're not putting yourself in a hole immediately. Or if you still don't want to invest, at least you know about it so you can warn others about it if they're deciding to put in a lot of money. You can save them from making a bad mistake. Or say in the future where banks are kind of obsolete and stuff like that and you're kind of, in a way, forced to do crypto, you're still setting yourself up for success.
Right, because crypto is going to come to you. You can avoid it as long as you want, but it's going to come to you, just like the internet came to the boomers.
I look at it like newspaper companies. They're all gone because of the internet. When was the last time you saw a newspaper get delivered?
I ain't gonna lie, my grandma and grandpa get them. They get them still.
Yeah.
They get that. My grandpa, he works at an apartment place, and they have to have him clock in and out. He has my grandma do it. He don't know how to use a computer. It's hilarious.
Crypto is going to come to you sooner or later, so at the very least, you should understand it. You should move towards understanding it, because eventually you're going to have to learn it. For one reason or another, you're going to be forced to learn how to do it.
Yep.
And there's no getting around it. So learning ahead of time is way better. Right now is a bear market.
Time to get in.
Yeah, it's time to learn, or not. If you're not interested in this stuff, that's great. But if you are even slightly interested, start learning now, and start dollar cost averaging now. Throw $5, $10 here and there, just to get yourself that little bit of exposure that you're comfortable with. And later, when everything goes freaking nuts, and honestly, as long as you're in stuff that has been around for a long time and clearly isn't gonna break, Dogecoin, great, it's been around forever, has zero utility, but it pumps, people love it. That's a safe one to hold. Buy yourself some Dogecoin, have all the fun, get hair all over your house, all that fun stuff. And just don't buy more than you can afford to lose. So if something does happen and you lose all that, you're not like wrecked and losing your house and your kids aren't going hungry. So just be responsible with it. Take your time, learn.
Self-custody it so you double it.
And get your double. It's silly to miss your double. It's like, imagine if you bought a brand new car and the car company was like, okay, so if you hold that, you keep, in 1 year, we're going to give you another car free of charge. Would you like that? Would you really be like, no, that's stupid. I don't want your free car. Like, bug off. No, you want the free car. Of course you want the damn free car. So this is the same thing. It's free crypto. It's free money.
Driveway. Only if you park it in your driveway. If you park it in the street, you don't get the double.
Right. So you just park it in your driveway and you get the free car. Like, it's a win on top of a win on top of a win. Now you got 2 cars. It makes life better. So take your free coins when they come in, because why not? I took free coins when free coins happened. That's the other thing. People who hold crypto get airdrops.
Free money.
And free money. And like, in the Hex community, we get free airdrops all the time. And a lot of it's because we hold on to it so good. We don't sell it. We stake it. We have a very long-term mindset. And who better to hold your asset and hold the price up than the people who have done that work, who have shown that they are trustworthy, that they will hold a coin for a very long time. That's the kind of people you want to be dropping your coins to, because they're not just going to liquidate it all and dump your coin price to zero as quick as possible.
The average stake
it's
length in Hex now is 6.7 years. That's
yep.
the average.
Who do
So,
banks give loans to? Banks give loans to people who have had loans before, who have proven that they will pay off their loan.
yep.
Now, if you've never had a loan or you've had a little loan and you didn't pay it off in time, the bank doesn't want to give you no more because you have proven that you're not trustworthy, at least in their eyes.
Yep.
Or if you're a guy who has had, has bought 2 cars and never missed a payment, you're going to get a great loan from the bank because they trust you. You've done that proof of work. You have shown that you're a trustworthy individual that they can do business with. That kind of just applies everywhere,
All through life.
Yeah, guys, this has been absolutely good. I'm gonna have to dip off here. Guys, I do want to say this though. I will be live. I don't know. I might do a second Fortnite stream a little later. But my friend just got home and everything like that. The freaking dog's barking. Oh, stupidly crazy.
I'm doing the W, and I'm new to your channel. What is the W? Is that just for win?
Yeah,
Yep.
wins. It wins.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, last thing, guys, thanks so much for being in here and supporting.
Thanks for inviting me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, hey.
Great birthday present.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, happy
oh
birthday.
my God, that's right.
Today's
That's
Brian's birthday.
Guys, let's sing happy birthday to him. Happy birthday. Happy
in the chat.
birthday to you. Let's go. Let's go. And that's freaking awesome. You're doing this on your birthday. That means a lot that you decided to take your time out at your birthday. You could be doing whatever. You could be having some fun.
Thanks,
you
Chad. I appreciate it.
There you go.
Yeah, chat, you guys have been awesome. Thank you for coming in and hearing us out. I hope you learned something. That was our entire intent. You notice we never tried to sell you anything. We never told you to go do anything. We're simply just trying to educate.
Offering our time and energy.
Yeah, we're offering our time and energy. Like, I was supposed to go, I've got a blown up shoulder. I was supposed to go to a doctor's appointment today. I was like, you know what? I'm going to reschedule it because this is more important to me. This shoulder is going to be there on Tuesday. No problem.
Yeah. Hey.
So, yeah, I really appreciate everybody coming in and watching and listening and learning. And, I hope that we've changed some people's lives. You won't feel it today, but maybe a few years down the road, you're going to think back to the stream and be like, wow, that was a pivotal point. I learned something invaluable that day.
I think that you're. I think
You're
that,
still early.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think by the year 2035, crypto is gonna be a lot more different looking than it is now. That's
Absolutely, we're in the early
Without a
days.
doubt.
This is early internet type feels here. So, Brian,
We're still on dial-up.
yeah, we're still on dial-up. Brian, thank you for coming through like last second.
Yeah, no, good.
I think Maddie must have got kidnapped or something because we never did hear. He was in contact all the way up until last second.
Maddie is a busy guy.
He is a very busy guy, so I don't blame him for not being able to make it. But I had you in the back of my mind. I was like, yeah. And Bastrin, thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, dude, great to meet you.
Yeah.
You didn't have to have us on. You didn't have to hear any of this. So I appreciate you and commend you for taking the time and allowing us the platform to come on here and talk and spread the good word.
Yeah.
And,
I mean,
hopefully we can do something like it in the future.
Oh yeah. I don't have a real issue with it. I need to do my own research too. It's going to have a little more in-depth discussion. That because I'm more listening than debating. I'm not debating anything really. I'm just kind of, hey, so what do you think of this? We need. I think it'd be interesting if, like, say, the next time we did do it, we had someone with a different opinion. For argument's sake.
I think we try to kind of, bring some of those other opinions in, because we understand, and it's hard. It's why, like I hate actually talking about Hex in these scenarios. But unfortunately, there's not too many other examples to reference.
Right.
If you were talking about the internet in the early days, people would say, "Oh, stop talking about." Well, there's nothing else to reference. There is no other decentralized system like this. I mean, I guess we could compare it to the phone, maybe, or something. But like, there's nothing else to compare it to. There's nothing else to reference. So when
Like the girl in
they're
the Highest of Stakes trailer says, you know, in the early days, people thought the internet was just to send email.
right,
You know, and look where that's gone.
Yeah.
And you're in the early days of crypto right now.
Yep. Early
So-
days.
as technologies progress, every now and again, you're going to find yourself in a position where you're trying to educate people about something, but there's only one thing to really reference to make that point with. And so, you know, that's why we talk about other coins like Doge. It works fine. You can do that. But understand that its upside potential is probably quite lower than some newer coins that are coming out. And then you have to do your research and do risk assessment on those coins to make sure that they are safe and clean to actually get into. And if
Right.
you do those two things right, you wind up putting $300 in, like I did, and making $3 million.
Well, then you just
And then you
cat's
you
out
know,
the
and
bag.
then what's left? Come out and try to educate people,
Yeah.
and try not to sound too shilly while you're doing it, right? Like,
Cat's out the
I'm
bag.
dude, I could be so much worse. I could be like, no, you have to buy Hex. You have to go buy Hex right now. You have to stake it. You have to love, you know, like, I'm not doing that stuff. I'm just using Hex as the example in this sort of presentation, if you will, as what crypto should look like, right? I've given you bad examples of what some crypto looks like, as in the bad crypto stuff that isn't even crypto in the first place. It just has a crypto sticker on it. And then I've given you extremes from both sides, and so you need to come in the middle and understand what it is that you want. If you're here for the memes, if you're here for the narrative, maybe you like dog coins, meme coins, stuff like that. Maybe that's your thing. If you like NFTs, if you like computer-generated, pixelated little pictures that are loosely related to a JPEG that may or may not still be, you know.
I do gotta go, but I'm gonna ask one last question. Why are so you're trying to get a coin, you know, to be extremely popular, and it be like, say, okay, you got the United States dollar, or, you know, that's like the main currency right now, right? You got Dogecoin, really? Like, you think that, you know, like, be something? Oh yeah, Doge. Like the names are weird.
Mm-hmm.
Why? What made people sit there and think Doge is going to be the currency? You know what I mean? Because, like, even
some people like dogs. You know, Dogecoin, it's funny. It was created in an afternoon as a joke by a guy. He's like, look at this funny little dog coin. How silly. I'll bet it'll go to zero. And now it's one of the most prominent cryptocurrencies on Earth.
Yep.
And the primary cause of that is because it was essentially just a copy of Bitcoin, right? And so it works. It never died. It never went away. And then people who bought a bunch of it early just as a joke, just like, hey, look, I got all these dog coins, and then they forgot about them. They came back 10 years later or whatever, and they were millionaires. They're like, oh, okay, this is cool. And then other people caught on, and then it just became a sensation. Like,
So,
you know, like, why is anything popular? And it's because
no, I
some
mean,
people,
like, I
you know,
guess what I'm trying to say is, like, the professionalism. Like, I don't think the government would be like, yep, Dogecoin is our, you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't imagine a world where we're like, yeah, Dogecoin. And then you see, like say there's something physical, and you literally have a coin, and there's just a dog on it, instead of one of our presidents or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's just interesting.
yeah, well, like, dogs might think it's silly that there's people on our money, but
I guess, yeah. Well, hey, you live it all there. I mean, my God. All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much for doing this. Seriously. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and dip on out of here. Thank you guys so much. Seriously, this has been
peace,
awesome.
guys.
Peace.
See you in the chat later.
Peace out,
Later,
guys.
chat.
Thank you so much.